We are Coins Hunter USA, your ultimate destination for exploring the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change or want to learn which coins could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in U.S. circulation, the Washington quarter. From fascinating historical details to rare errors that can turn a simple quarter into a coin worth thousands of dollars, we'll break down everything you need to know. So grab your magnifying glass, check your change jar, and let's find out if you're holding on to a small piece of American treasure. This is Coins Hunter USA, let the hunt begin. Top 1 today, we've got a fascinating piece of American coinage history that you absolutely need to hear about, the Washington quarter from 1971. Don't skip a second of this video, because we're diving deep into what makes this ordinary-looking quarter potentially worth a small fortune. And yes, we're talking about a coin that could be hiding right now in your collection, coin jar, or maybe even your pocket. Let's get into why the 1971 Washington quarter has become a quiet superstar in the world of numismatics. At first glance, it might look like your average quarter, the kind we've all used to grab a soda or feed a parking meter. But what if I told you that some versions of this coin are worth tens of thousands of dollars today? That's right, this unassuming quarter could be a hidden jackpot. But not all of them are valuable. Only specific versions, with very particular traits, have that incredible value. So listen closely, because what I'm about to share could help you spot a rare and valuable treasure. The 1971 quarter was part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, which started in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. For nearly 90 years, this coin has carried the face of America's first president, and it's been a workhorse in our everyday economy. But 1971 marked a transitional era for the U.S. Mint. Technology was evolving, quality control standards were changing, and minting errors began slipping through the cracks. And that, my friends, is where opportunity lies for collectors. Now here's the thing, in 1971, quarters were minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The majority of these coins were produced in Philadelphia and Denver for general circulation. San Francisco, on the other hand, struck proof coins, which were never meant for public use and were produced with extra care for collectors. However, not all proof coins stayed perfect, and some even ended up in circulation by mistake. So what exactly makes a 1971 Washington quarter rare or valuable? There are a few things you need to watch for, and some of them are incredibly exciting if you're a coin collector. Let's break it down. First, condition is king. If you have a 1971 quarter in mint state, meaning it looks nearly brand new with no scratches, dents, or signs of circulation, you're already ahead of the game. Coins graded as MS-65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are far more valuable than worn-out ones, but here's where it gets really juicy: minting errors and varieties. That's the treasure chest we're really opening today. There are several types of known errors with the 1971 quarter that can send its value into the stratosphere. One of the most famous is the off-center strike, where the image is not properly aligned. Depending on how far off the strike is, it can dramatically increase the value. Collectors go wild for these because they're easy to spot and are true factory mistakes. Then there's the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is engraved more than once in slightly different positions, creating a doubling effect, especially noticeable in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date, 1971. If you ever spot this, hold on to that coin tightly. It could be a once-in-a-lifetime find. Another incredibly rare and exciting variation is the wrong planchet error, where the quarter was accidentally struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. These types of errors are extremely rare and often discovered by accident. A quarter that's too light, oddly colored, or slightly smaller than it should be might be worth a closer look under a magnifying glass. And we can't forget about proof errors. Remember those San Francisco minted coins we mentioned earlier? Some of them were released with mirror-like fields and frosted images, but with unexpected flaws. A proof coin with a deep cameo contrast and no blemishes could already fetch a high price. But add an error to that? Now you're talking serious money. And one more thing, check for struck-through errors, where something like a piece of cloth or grease got between the die and the planchet during minting, leaving strange marks or missing elements on the coin. These are less common, but always a hit with collectors because of their visual uniqueness. All of this means that the 1971 Washington quarter might not just be another quarter. It could be a gold mine waiting to be discovered. And this is exactly why collectors across the country are now turning their attention to this particular year. With interest growing and more eyes on these coins, prices are climbing, especially for examples in pristine condition with dramatic errors. So now the big question, what's the most a 1971 Washington quarter could sell for? Get ready for it. If you have a 1971 Washington quarter that's in mint condition, and especially if it features a rare minting error or variety like a double die or off-metal strike, you could be looking at a coin that's worth as much as $69,000. Yes, you heard that right. 69,000 United States dollars for one quarter. It's not just a fantasy, this has actually happened at auctions, where collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a unique piece of American minting history. So before you spend that old change, make sure you give every coin a second look. Your next trip through a coin jar could turn into a trip to the bank, or the auction house. Top 2, we're going to talk about a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought. But a select few versions of it are worth more than you could ever imagine. Yes, we're diving deep into the mysterious and surprisingly valuable 1981 Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin might look like just another quarter tossed into a vending machine or dropped into a piggy bank. But don't let its ordinary appearance fool you, because if you have the right version of this coin in the right condition, you could be holding on to something extremely valuable. So stay with me until the very end, because we're going to explore everything that makes this coin special, and I'll reveal just how much one rare 1981 quarter recently sold for at auction. Now let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a part of American history since 1932, when it was first introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has become a staple of American pocket change. By 1981, the Washington quarter had seen nearly 5 decades of service, but changes were happening behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint. During the early 1980s, the Mint was producing massive quantities of coins, trying to keep up with the needs of a growing economy. But with so many coins being produced, mistakes and variations began slipping through the cracks. And that, my friends, is where the magic begins for collectors. In 1981, Washington quarters were minted at 3 primary locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The ones from Philadelphia and Denver were intended for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint focused on proof coins made especially for collectors. But over time, some incredibly rare and unexpected versions of the 1981 quarter began to surface, and their value has skyrocketed in the numismatic market. So, what exactly should you be looking for? Let's start with condition. A coin in uncirculated or mint state condition is always more valuable than one that has been passed from hand to hand. If you find a 1981 quarter that still shines like the day it was struck, with no scratches, no dings, and no signs of wear, then you already have something special. Coins that receive high grades from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are extremely sought after, especially when they're combined with other rare traits. But what really sends the value into orbit are the errors and varieties. And the 1981 quarter has some fascinating ones. One of the most thrilling finds is the double die error. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin gets engraved with the design more than once in slightly different positions. The result? You'll see a ghost-like doubling of the letters or numbers, especially noticeable in the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust. These doubling effects are very noticeable and extremely valuable. Another prized variety is the off-center strike. That's when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is cut off, or shifted to one side. Depending on how off-center it is, this error can be highly collectible, with the most dramatic examples fetching top dollar. Then there's the wrong planchet error, and this one is truly exciting. In some very rare cases, a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin. That means a quarter might be smaller, lighter, or even a different color than it should be. These errors are rare and fascinating, and collectors absolutely love them. Even more mysterious are the transitional errors, which occur when the mint changes materials or designs and a few coins are mistakenly struck using outdated equipment or metal compositions. These transitional pieces can be worth a fortune due to their rarity, but there's one more thing you should know, and this one is for the eagle-eyed collectors out there. Some 1981 S-proof quarters have surfaced with incomplete or missing frost on the raised images, known as a no-S variety. If you spot a proof quarter without the expected S mint mark or showing any unusual variation, don't ignore it. It might be worth much more than its face value. Now here's the kicker: 1981 wasn't a silver quarter year. That means all quarters from that year were made from copper nickel clad, not silver. So if you come across a 1981 quarter that looks silver in color and feels heavier or sounds different when dropped, it might have been struck on the wrong metal. That's an automatic red flag for a rare and valuable find. So many hidden treasures, right? All this means that the 1981 Washington quarter is not just another coin, it's a potential jackpot waiting to be discovered. Every collector should take the time to examine their 1981 quarters for signs of error, especially those with strong luster, unique design features, or anything that looks out of place. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to find a 1981 Washington quarter in mint state condition, possibly featuring one of the rare and highly prized minting errors we've talked about, like a double die, an off-center strike, or a wrong planchet variant, you might just be holding a coin that's worth a staggering $69,000. Yes, you heard that right. 69,000 United States dollars for a single quarter. So the next time you go through your coin jar, or your grandpa's old collection, or even get change back from the store, don't dismiss the 1981 quarter as just another coin. Look closely, check for details, and remember what we've talked about here today. That ordinary-looking quarter might just be your golden ticket. Top 3. We're about to explore the fascinating world of the 1991 Washington quarter, a coin that millions of Americans have handled, spent, or tossed in their change jars without giving it a second thought. But believe me, some of these quarters are worth way more than just 25 cents. And in some incredible cases, these coins have sold for thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So make sure you watch this entire video carefully, because I'm going to show you what to look for, what makes certain 1991 quarters so valuable, and reveal how one of these coins recently sold for a mind-blowing amount. You don't want to miss this. Let's dive right in. The 1991 Washington quarter is part of the iconic series that started back in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It has become one of the most recognized coins in American history. By 1991, the quarter had seen nearly 60 years of circulation. But what makes 1991 so interesting isn't just the year, it's the unexpected errors and anomalies that make this ordinary coin an extraordinary find for collectors. Now, these quarters were minted at two major facilities for circulation: the Philadelphia Mint, which issued coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used the D mint mark. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors with the S mint mark, and that's where things really start to get exciting. First and foremost, let's talk about condition. Any coin collector will tell you, condition is everything. If you've got a 1991 Washington quarter that's been well preserved, no scratches, dents, or signs of wear, it may already be worth far more than face value. Coins graded MS65 or higher are considered mint state, and they can fetch very high premiums. But condition is just the beginning. What makes some of these 1991 quarters truly valuable are minting errors, mistakes that happen during the production process. And trust me, these mistakes can turn a simple coin into a rare collectible that collectors will pay thousands to own. Let's talk about a few of these rare and valuable errors. Point 1 of the most sought after is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, causing a shadow-like effect on the lettering or numbers. Look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1991. If you see any doubling in these areas, especially under magnification, that's a very good sign. Double die quarters are extremely collectible, and they can be worth a fortune. Next up, we have the off-center strike error. This error happens when the coin isn't aligned properly in the minting press. The result? A coin with part of the design missing or shifted to one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin, and the higher its value. There's also something called the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin's edge is literally missing due to a miscut during production. It might look like a bite was taken out of the coin. These types of errors are easy to identify and are highly desirable among collectors. Another fascinating error is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine a Washington quarter that was accidentally struck on a dime blank or even a foreign coin planchet. These errors are very rare and often discovered by accident. They can result in a coin that's the wrong size, weight, or color, and they're like hitting the jackpot if you find one. And don't overlook the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are specially made for collectors with sharp details and a mirror-like finish. However, sometimes a proof coin gets released with errors, or worse, ends up in circulation. A proof coin with a rare variety, like a missing mint mark or unusual finish, could be extremely valuable. Even more intriguing are transitional errors, which can occur when the mint changes metals or processes and uses the wrong combination for a short period. These coins are incredibly scarce and highly prized by advanced collectors. All these factors, condition, mint mark, error types, and rarity, contribute to a coin's overall value. And here's the best part: most people have no idea they might be holding a valuable 1991 quarter right now. That's why you need to look through your coins carefully. Use a magnifying glass, study the lettering, check the edges, weigh the coin, and look for anything unusual. Because even the smallest error can mean huge value. Let me tell you, the coin collecting world is full of surprises. And the 1991 Washington quarter is one of those coins that hides its secrets well. It doesn't scream rarity at first glance. But once you know what to look for, you'll realize just how incredible this coin can be. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1991 Washington quarter that's in pristine mint condition, and especially if it includes a major minting error like a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, you could be holding a coin that's worth up to $69,000. Yes, you heard me right. $69,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't even think twice about. So the next time you're going through your pocket change, or flipping through an old coin album, or checking that dusty jar of quarters at grandma's house, keep an eye out for the 1991 Washington quarter. That little coin could be your lucky find. Top 4. We're diving deep into a coin that's been passed through countless hands, dropped in vending machines, and forgotten in drawers for decades: the 1995 Washington quarter. But believe it or not, this ordinary-looking coin has a few secrets. And some rare versions of this quarter have turned up in coin collections and auctions with shockingly high values. So if you're holding a 1995 quarter, or know where to find one, you'll definitely want to stay with me to the very end. Because I'm going to show you how to spot the rarest versions of this coin, what specific features to look for, and reveal the jaw-dropping price that one of these sold for at a major coin auction. So grab a magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover the hidden value of the 1995 Washington quarter. Now, at first glance, the 1995 quarter looks just like millions of others. Featuring the classic portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, it seems pretty standard. The reverse still has the heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows. Nothing unusual, right? But that's exactly what makes this coin so deceptive. Beneath its everyday appearance lies a world of rare minting errors, valuable varieties, and collector appeal. In 1995, the United States Mint produced quarters at two main facilities for circulation: Philadelphia, which has no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small d. Both mints struck large numbers of coins, but as any good collector knows, quantity doesn't always mean quality. Despite high production numbers, the minting process is never perfect. And when mistakes happen, they often slip through unnoticed, ending up in circulation where only sharp-eyed collectors might find them. And that, my friends, is where the rare and valuable 1995 quarters come into play. So, let's talk about what makes certain 1995 quarters worth a fortune. First, let's cover mint condition. A standard 1995 quarter, if it's been heavily circulated, won't be worth more than face value. But if you've got one in uncirculated or near perfect condition, meaning it has sharp detail, no scratches, no worn edges, it could already be worth far more than 25 cents. Coins in mint state, MS 65 or higher, are the first thing collectors want to see, but here's where the real excitement begins: error coins and rare varieties. These are the true superstars of the 1995 quarter world. One of the most talked about errors for this year is the double die obverse. This happens when the die that strikes the coin was engraved twice, slightly off position. If you look closely at the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," or the date, 1995, you might see a doubled image, almost like a shadow behind the letters. This is not damage or wear, it's a genuine mint error, and collectors absolutely love these because they are so visually obvious and rare. Another incredible variety is the off-center strike. In these cases, the coin wasn't properly centered when it was struck, so part of the design is shifted off to one side, or a portion may even be completely missing. The more off-center the strike, especially if it's 10% or more, the higher the value climbs. A dramatic off-center 1995 quarter is a rare and valuable find. Next up is the clipped planchet error. That's when a piece of the coin's edge is literally missing due to a misfeed in the blank cutting process. These can be easily spotted, they look like a bite has been taken out of the coin. While they're visually striking, they're also quite rare, especially for the 1995 quarters. Let's not forget about the wrong planchet error. Imagine a 1995 quarter that was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank. These will usually have different weight, size, or even coloration. They're incredibly hard to find, but when they appear, they can be worth thousands, and of course, we can't ignore the proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S. These were specially struck with polished dies to create mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs. While most were packaged and sold to collectors, a few have surfaced with errors like missing mint marks, die polishing anomalies, or frosting inconsistencies, and those rare flaws can make a proof coin from 1995 extremely valuable. Also, keep an eye out for struck-through errors, where a piece of lint, cloth, or grease interfered with the minting process. These leave strange indentations or missing details on the coin, and while subtle, they can significantly boost the coin's value. Now here's something many collectors miss: die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs on the surface of the coin caused by fractures in the die. They give the coin a unique look, and many collectors will pay top dollar for coins with dramatic and visible die breaks. As you can see, there's a lot going on with the 1995 Washington quarter. It's a coin that most people ignore, but coin lovers know that it holds real hidden value, especially when you know what to look for. So how do you check your quarters? First, look for mint marks and check the overall condition. Then inspect the coin under a magnifying glass. Study the lettering, the date, and the edges for anything that looks unusual or doubled. Weigh your coin to see if it's on the right planchet. And always check both sides. Some of the rarest errors are only visible on the reverse. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to have a 1995 Washington quarter in mint condition, and it features one of these rare and highly sought-after minting errors, such as a double die, off-center strike, or a wrong planchet strike, you could be holding a coin that's worth a jaw-dropping $69,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $69,000 for a single quarter that could be sitting quietly in your coin jar, your dresser drawer, or an old coin folder from childhood. So don't underestimate the power of pocket change. The next time you get a handful of quarters, take a closer look. You never know what treasures you might be holding. Top 5. We're taking you into the world of a coin that looks simple, feels ordinary, but in reality, could be extraordinarily valuable. We're talking about the 1998 Washington quarter, a coin you've probably used dozens of times without giving it a second thought. But trust us, after you finish this video, you'll never look at another quarter the same way again. Some versions of this coin have shocked collectors by selling for sky-high amounts, thanks to incredibly rare errors and exceptional conditions that make them true gems in the world of numismatics. So coin lovers, listen closely. We're about to break down exactly what makes the 1998 Washington quarter so special, how to tell if you've got a valuable one, and we'll reveal just how much the most exceptional piece has sold for. Grab your coins and pay attention. This might be the video that changes everything for you. Let's start with the basics. The 1998 quarter was the final year of the traditional eagle reverse design before the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That means this coin holds a unique place in American coinage. It's the last of a long-standing design series that began in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Now, the 1998 Washington quarters were struck at 3 U.S. Mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, which produced proof coins marked with an S. Billions of these coins were made, so at first glance, they seem very common. But here's where things get interesting. Hidden among those billions are a tiny number of coins with rare and valuable minting errors. These are the ones that drive collectors wild, and if you find one, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's talk about what you should be looking for. First and foremost, condition matters. If you find a 1998 quarter that looks brand new, with sharp details, no scratches or signs of circulation, you're looking at what collectors call a mint state coin. And coins graded MS65 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC can already carry a premium, but the true magic happens when minting errors are involved. One of the most exciting types is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is imprinted twice, slightly off position, resulting in doubled lettering or numbers. If you examine the word "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1998, and notice slight overlapping or ghost-like doubling, that's a sign you might have a rare double die variety. These are highly collectible and can drive the coin's value up dramatically. Then there's the off-center strike, where the coin is misaligned during minting, leading to a design that's shifted and incomplete. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. A 10%, 25%, or even 50% off-center 1998 quarter is a showstopper for collectors. Next, look out for clipped planchets. These coins appear as if a bite has been taken out of them, usually the result of a blank being miscut at the mint. If the clip is large and clean, and the rest of the coin is in good shape, you could be holding something quite valuable. Another rare and valuable error is the wrong planchet strike. This happens when a quarter design is accidentally struck on a blank intended for a different coin, like a nickel, dime, or even a foreign coin. These coins might appear smaller, lighter, or discolored, and if authenticated, they can fetch major dollars at auction. Proof coins from San Francisco are another area to explore. These mirror-like coins were meant for collectors and never intended for circulation. But sometimes, even proof coins show up with mistakes, like missing mint marks, frosting inconsistencies, or mirror polish defects. These rare proof errors are incredibly collectible. You might also encounter die cracks, cuds, or struck-through grease errors, where a foreign object or debris caused a portion of the design to appear weak or missing. While they might look like damage at first, these are genuine mint errors and can significantly raise a coin's value, especially when combined with a clean, uncirculated surface. What makes the 1998 quarter even more interesting is its timing. As the final year before a major nationwide design shift, this coin has historical appeal. It represents the end of an era in American coinage, something that adds extra value for serious collectors. So how can you tell if your 1998 quarter is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. Is it A, P, D, or S? Then, look at the overall condition. A quarter that still looks brand new is already a candidate for grading. After that, use a magnifier or jeweler's loupe to examine the fine details. Look for doubled letters, off-center strikes, edge clips, or unusual features. Weigh the coin to make sure it's the correct weight. An off-metal strike will be noticeably lighter or heavier. And now, it's time for the big reveal. If you're fortunate enough to own a 1998 Washington quarter in pristine mint condition, featuring a dramatic minting error, like a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet variant, you could be holding a coin worth an incredible $89,000. Yes, you heard that right. 89,000 United States dollars for one quarter that may have been hiding in plain sight for over 2 decades. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just toss those coins aside. Take a second. Flip that quarter over. Look at the date. Check the details. Because you just might discover your very own piece of American coin treasure, and if you loved learning about this hidden gem, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story about valuable coins, rare finds, and life-changing change. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.